Hi YouTube, it's Mike from Kane Autograph. Welcome back to the channel. Today's TTM return batch is one of those that reminds me why I love this hobby so much, because you just never know what kind of stories are going to show up in your mailbox. We got a great mix in this one. Some names you're going to recognize right away, and a few that are going to make you go, wait, what's this guy's story? Every envelope's a little piece of history, so let's get into this one because there's some surprises you're going to like. So my friend Chase over at Chase and Ink is doing the Hockey TTM Challenge. My teams are the Panthers and the Minnesota Wild. For every autograph you get back from a player, you get a point. Dan Boyle, great story. This guy went undrafted. No team gave him a shot at first. He worked his way up the hard way, earning a roster spot, and then wham, over 1,000 NHL games, over 600 points, Stanley Cup champion with the Tampa Bay Lightning, and later Olympic gold with Team Canada. From undrafted to the top of the hockey world. Really cool return. A 101 return in 11 days from Sweet Lou Pinella. He does charge $5 per, and I picked up this card a couple weeks ago, and I knew it would look great with some ink on it. Lou was Rookie of the Year with the Kansas City Royals. Later, he won 2 World Series titles as a player with the New York Yankees, and then he went on to win a World Series manager with the Cincinnati Reds in 1990. Not many guys have won it both as a player and a manager. And if you ever seen this guy in the dugout, you know what kind of fire he always brought to the game. I might struggle with this next guy's name, Raul Alurger, 202 in 103 days. And he was a standout soccer player from Mexico, didn't even plan on playing football. Ends up in the NFL and not just sticking around, but winning 2 Super Bowls with the Giants. In his entire career, he never had a field goal blocked. And he inscribed both of these to Mike, and he put 2 times Super Bowl champ on them. Randy Brockes, 202 in 11 days. A pitcher from the late 80s, and he played with the Giants and the Tigers. Here's a wild story in his career. In just his fourth major league game, he pitch hit and struck out. But then he stayed in the game to play the outfield. Not only that, he switched between left and right field in the same inning. Pitcher to outfielder mid game, you don't see that very often. Definitely a unique story. A 3 of 3 return from Tom Tillman in 172 days. And Tillman spent time with the San Diego Padres, the Milwaukee Brewers, the Oakland Athletics. Here's what makes this guy stand out. In his entire major league career, he never made a single fielding error. Perfect 1,000 field percentage as a pitcher. Not easy to do, especially when you've had over 100 plus appearances. My second point for the team challenge, Brian McCabe, 2 of 2 in 17 days. McCabe had over 1,000 NHL games, solid career on the blue line. Best known for his time with the Toronto Maple Leafs, where he had a career year with 68 points as a defenseman, which is pretty big production. Here's the wild part. He once scored the game-winning goal in his own net in overtime. Doesn't happen often. Still, long career, high-level play, great name to add to the collection. Another hockey return, this one from longtime NHL defenseman Gord Murphy. Murphy's not one of those guys that might jump off the page right away, but when you dig into their career, a lot to like. 14 seasons in the NHL, played for the Flyers, the Bruins, Panthers, the Thrashers. Over 860 career games as a steady, reliable defenseman. Here's something I always love. Ninth round pick. This guy had to work at it to get to where he was going. And then he threw in a bonus card for me too, so I always appreciate that. Next up, former MLB pitcher Steve Fulcult, a solid bullpen arm from the 70s, played for the Rangers, the Tigers, Royals, put in a respectable 3.21 ERA with 52 saves over his career. After baseball, he became a police officer in Texas. Not something you see very often. Next up, Jack Kuzik, 2 of 2 in 11 days. Jack spent time with the White Sox, Philadelphia Phillies, and Toronto Blue Jays. Here's the interesting thing. He made it to the big leagues really fast, going from the minors to the major leagues in the same year he was drafted. That doesn't happen very often. Started games, came out of the bullpen, did a little bit of everything. Solid career path, cool return. And he threw his signature on that rookie's pitcher card. Don Ass isn't signing as far as I know, so maybe if he does a private sign in, I'll be able to get that card completed. Next up is former Major League infielder Steve Kiefer, 2 of 2 in 11 days. He played for the Oakland A's, the Milwaukee Brewers, the Yankees. Best season in 1987. Cool connection. He has a brother, Mark, who also made it to majors. Next up, a 3 of 3 in 47 days, and Greg Olson does charge $1 per card, which, man, that's a bargain. He was an all-star in 1990 with the Braves, and then just a year later, he was on part of that 1991 Braves team that made it all the way to the World Series. One of the best worst place teams to first place teams you'll see. In 1992, having a career year, trending up, and then he had a home plate collision with Kem Caminetti that broke his leg. Still, he had a really solid career. He's a 242 hitter, great defensive catcher, a .922 fielding percentage behind the plate. And just think about all those great Atlanta pitchers that he was a catcher for. Another former Brave going in the collection, Glenn Hubbard, 2 of 2 in a fast 10 days. Glenn also charges $1 per card, but man, I'm happy to pay that. And this is the guy with the snake card. If you know, you know. Back in 1984, he ended up with a boa constrictor draped around his neck during a pregame promotion. He had it photographed, and he ended up on his Fleer card. If you're going to send that card to him to get autographed, he does charge $15 for an autograph on that card. I would love to get that. I just haven't been able to find that card at a reasonable price. And finishing off my returns from this week, a 3 of 3 in 10 days from Dave Magadan. He charges $5 for 3 cards. Magadan played in the mid 80s to early 2000s, so a solid long career. Spent most of his time with the Mets, but he did play for the Yankees, the Padres, the Mariners, the Cubs. Just one of those professional hitters that team always found a spot for. He finished his career with a 2.88 batting average. And get this, he had seasons where his on base percentage was over 400. He was one of those guys when he first came in the league. I was buying up his cards because I thought he was going to be the next Tony Gwynn, batting title after batting title. This was a fun video. You got a little bit of everything in this batch. We had an undrafted player who made it to the top of the hockey world. We had a guy who won it both as a player as a manager, a pitcher who found himself in the outfield mid-game. That's what makes TTM so great. It's not just the autographs, it's the cool stories behind those names. Some of those guys were stars, others were grinders, but every one of them has a story. If you enjoyed this one, make sure to hit that like, drop a comment, and let me know what your favorite return from this video was. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so you don't miss any future episodes. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.